IVM.
We'd like to thank Storytel for sponsoring this show. Storytel is an audiobook platform that allows you to listen to audiobooks wherever you are, on your mobile, on your PC, wherever you want to listen to them. You can get a great deal at storytel.com/IVM. This week I'm going to recommend The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. It's one of the most famous books that I've seen. It's at all the bookstores, but it's such a beautiful read. If you haven't read it, do give it up. It's about the story of Afghanistan between the end of the monarchy to up until about 2000 or so, just post 9/11. Really, really interesting stuff. Give it a listen. It's just a great book. You can go get it at storytel.com/IVM. When you go and sign up at this link, you'll get the first month for just 99 rupees instead of 299. That's 200 rupees off. Go check it out, storytel.com/IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with Sir Edmund Hillary. Did you know that after climbing to the top of Mount Everest, Hillary decided to take a jet boat up the river Ganga? In an expedition he liked to call Sea to Sky. He started on the boat at the mouth of the river Ganga and then wanted to guide up the boat, the entire river, past those crazy whitewater rapids and everything. This was a very dangerous expedition, as the front of the boat could dip underwater and pull him and the boat underwater. In some of the sections, the water flowed so fast that the boat would be going at 30 kilometers an hour, but standing still as the water was just flowing past, because he was navigating his boat upstream. His expedition came to an abrupt end as he reached what came to be known as Hillary Fall, a 10-meter high waterfall that was just impossible for him to go up. And I know about this expedition only because many years ago, I whitewater rafted down this river, and one of the more memorable rapids was this Hillary Fall. This was the first time I'd ever been on a whitewater rafting expedition. The river was called the Alaknanda. It's one of those two rivers that join to form the Ganga. The rapids were grade 4 plus, which meant very, very difficult. But the funny thing about this expedition was that it was a 4-day trip. On day 1, every single rapid we hit scared the crap out of me. All I wanted to do was duck into the boat, and every time we did that, the guide would shout at us to keep paddling. Every single swear word known to man was shouted at us to keep paddling, with constant threats of putting those paddles into our bodily orifices if we did not continue paddling. And he did this for a very special reason, which is what this podcast is about. But before getting into that, I wanted to share that by day 4, we were no longer afraid of the rapids. And now, when the guide would shout at us to get down, we would just keep paddling. It's amazing how comfortable we get with things that were once hard or scary for us to do. Very often in our lives, we behave like Sir Edmund Hillary, where we try and swim against the flow of the river of life. Life seems to be taking us in one direction, but we feel it is best to struggle and fight against it. Swimming against the current is never a good idea for 3 reasons. The first is that you have to struggle just to stay afloat. The second is that you have to swim faster than the river to get anywhere. And the third reason is that you always land up wherever you are going tired. Think about your life. Over the last 4 months, have you been struggling with life, or have you been going with the flow? Have you been fighting to change the direction of things that are out of your control? Isn't it tiring? And as your habit coach, I want you to thrive through life. Live your life effortlessly and gracefully. Go with the flow instead of fighting it and swimming against it. However, there is a secret here. Going with the flow does not mean giving up control of your life to destiny or anything else. Instead, there is an important thing to learn from the whitewater rafting guide that kept shouting at us to paddle. When going with the flow of the river, your boat must either be faster than the river or slower than the river to be in control. Hence, you have to paddle forwards or backwards continuously to be in control. If you stop paddling, you have no control and then are in the mercy of that current. Instead, it's always better to be in control of your direction. The learning here is to be in control of your life by making continuous actions and efforts. Yet, not get overzealous and start trying to swim upstream, as that is doomed to fail. Instead, keep trying small steps and small actions in the direction of your life. You will soon realize that these small actions can change the course of your life, but you have to be patient and trust the flow. So your simple habit starts by just recognizing the flow of your life. Notice the places where you've tried to swim against the flow. Then get into the habit of paddling. These are the small actions that you take on a daily basis so that you have control of your life. These daily actions are the choices you are making. So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome180.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, it's 2021 now. It's time you did. You didn't in 2020. That was bad enough. But now in 2021, you really, really should. It's IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And a quick reminder to everybody, just please help us out with our survey, ivmpodcast.com/survey. We've had a number of you fill it out so far, but we want to shatter last year's number, right? Really, really blow that up. Go fill out the survey over there. If you do, we'll select from the emails that we have got submitted, and we'll be sending out some interesting swag to people. So what should you be listening to this week? First thing I want to talk about is the unprecedented episode. We did a triple crossover. Vineet Kanabar from Storytellers and Storysellers, Varun Dugirala from Advertising is Dead, and Karthik Nagarajan from the Filter Coffee Podcast all got together and put together a mega episode. Do check it out on whichever of their feeds you want. It's available on all three. On Naan Curry, the guy spoke about the history of alcohol in India. It's got a longer history than people would think. Definitely do check it out. Another show I want to call out this week a little bit is The Note by Maruk Inayat. Maruk had 2 fantastic episodes this week. She did her first episode with Amitabh Mattu about the elections in Kashmir, and then she did another one where she told the story of how she faked her identity to interview Benazir Bhutto. Definitely do check it out. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IBM website, IBM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from.